Well, good morning, Natalie. Perhaps it's best to let the audience know who you are, or the name they're most likely to recognise.
Well, I'm Thunder Bae. I'm Natalie. I'm here in Düsseldorf, and I just played the show yesterday, and it's 11. I'm a bit tired.
Yeah, of course. So apart from the pronunciation of the Bay in Thunder Bay, is there a correct way of saying it? Is it Bay?
It's just Bae.
It is Bay.
Yeah.
And what gave you the idea for using the name, like Thunder Bay altogether?
It's actually coming from my past. I used to play video games, and my username was Thunder Bae. And that was, I don't know, it was quite an accident, I think. I'm really into storms and lightning and thunder and the sound of thunder. And I think I wanted to call myself Thunder Baby, but that name was taken. So Bae is just a short form for baby. And I ended up taking that name as my artist name.
Yeah. So whilst researching, there are some details online, and it says that you're from London online. And as the reasons I ask is you're German, because your German's excellent, and you are based in Germany. So, is there a London connection?
No, not at all, actually. I mean, I love London, but I've never lived there. I think somebody just got something wrong.
So you've seen that too. It's mentioned that you're sort of London-based for some reason. I'm not sure.
Where is it mentioned?
On one of the online, because I was trying to Google yourself, and
Oh yeah,
you're one of these lucky people not on Wikipedia.
I think I don't know if it's on Discogs or somewhere. I saw it that somebody mentioned it, but I didn't wrote it. It was somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why.
No, I suppose that's one of the things that needs to be adapted. But you are German, and you've been in Germany.
I'm half Russian.
Ah, okay.
But yeah, I've been in Germany.
Yeah. So please forgive the awkward establishing questions. So let's discover when you wanted to sing, and who were your influences, and who inspired you to go forth.
Oh, that's such a big question.
It is. You're going to do all the talking now.
Yeah. So I started quite early with expressing myself through music and acting. And when I was 8 years old, my mom put me into a kind of jazz classical school where I started to learn piano and singing. And I did that for 8 years. And then I was done with jazz and classic things and with theory and with all that. And I deeply knew that the songs I wrote and the lyrics I wrote were a form of expressing my inner state, or just capturing a truth of my life in a form of, in the shape of music or in the shape of text. And so I kept going on my solo way until I met my uncle, which is Peter Crick. And I grew up from the age of 14 in his studio. And that's where I also met Propaganda, for example.
Oh, so it was a little while back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was there anyone in the family that sort of was really giving you that push, giving you that sort of, or was it all coming from you?
Yeah, it was all coming from me. I had no one in my family who really supported me in that way. I think I mean, my mom, of course, she wanted me to learn jazz or do something like become a pianist or something, but I never wanted that. And nobody in my family is a musician or is into arts or anything. Yeah.
And your voice training, is that something you've been doing yourself?
Yeah, I was really into vocal technique, and I had a very great teacher. But as I said, that I had to forget and to unlearn all his classical techniques to find my own sound, my own signature in my voice, and yeah.
So in the last 2 years, it appears that there is a lot more music being released by you. I gather there's a constant outpouring.
Yeah. I've been a bit stuck the last 3 years actually, because I was signed to a label, and it was very complicated to work with them in terms of putting out my music, because they were just starting off as a label, and it was complicated to find a way together in a way that my music would come out. And they tried to push me into another direction where I wanted to go, and so at some point I quit my old label contract, and it took me a while to get out of it. But since that, I started to put out music independently, which is also quite something, because if you want to do music videos or you do your productions, you pay for everything yourself and you organize everything yourself. So I wish my output would be a bit more, but I think it's quite stabilizing itself now.
Yeah. So you have a very distinctive and pure voice, and I like that you don't identify your music to any single genre. Now, I may be just capturing that, but I think I've seen on Bandcamp that you sort of mentioned that you're not genre specific, should I say. So what's more, you're correct in stating that it's relatable as well. But where do you feel the ideas for songs come from, and how easy do you find it to express yourself through music and sound?
Well, where do the inspirations came from? I guess life, just in general, observing myself, digging into myself, and digging into observing people, and finding truths and meanings and symbols in conversations and in myself. And I feel like I'm in general not so good with words or with like speaking. When I talk to close people, people will sometimes say that I come off a bit cold or a bit how do you say, like I'm a bit like an introverted person. So I think the best way for me to express what is going on in my life, or what was going on, and how I feel about it, was always through writing lyrics and making music. Yeah.
So it's just a form of expression?
Yeah, it's a form of expression, and I think it's also a form of me trying to relate to the outside world in a way, yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting you bring that up, because being on stage, you become an extrovert, and when you're an introvert, it clashes, of course. So how does that feel?
Yeah. I think still being on stage is such a weird moment for me. I do enjoy it a lot because I love being with the people, and I love that I can bring some energies and create a collective vibe, you know. But at the same time, I played another show before yesterday, and people were coming to me after the show asking me if I'm okay. And I was like, obviously I'm not as okay as I would have been if I didn't play the show, because each time I'm singing my songs, I'm kind of reliving the things that I'm saying, and some of my songs are really deeply from a dark moment of my life, and so yeah, that's often how I feel on stage, that I'm kind of reliving these things, and so that's quite something for me. But of course I just try to keep the energy up, and with the show that I played yesterday, where the band joined me, there was a big energy, and I tried to, yeah.
So you felt there was some reinforcement from having the band around you, in theory?
Yeah,
that
definitely.
You're not alone with
Yeah,
all the focus on
definitely.
yourself?
I think playing an acoustic set is much more intimate and gets me much more into my feelings, kind of. And playing with a band, especially because we grungified all my songs a little bit, made it a bit more fun and a bit more energetic.
And generally I've noticed with artists, they feed from the crowd. So there's energy being pushed back to you,
Yeah.
which boosts your energy, and then it's a cycle.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah.
So there appears to be a momentum building, releasing a physical Blu-ray, which I discreetly put under here for the camera, highlighted. I purchased yesterday, and merchandise and touring. So how is the journey so far, and are there more plans afoot to touring around the world?
Well, I'm currently playing every show that I get almost, and I just want to play live. And I think I really enjoy going to another city, to another country, and having a performance together with the musicians. And I'm playing a couple of shows this year still, but I don't know what's going to happen after, because I think each time I play a show I get a new opportunity, which is great. And what was the other question?
Well, it was all related to, yeah, I ask loaded questions sometimes, and, and as you can see, you can go off on a tangent. I'm always in a tangent. It's to do with the actual physical release of merchandise as well. So, you know, you're I mean, I suppose all of this kind of helps in the long run. You know, it all helps every part of promotion. And as you say, if you're doing it freelance, you're having to, you know, support yourself.
Yeah, so I had a support on making this Blu-ray album happening. Because there was someone who offered me to have the Dolby Atmos masterings for my album, and in return I am selling 1,000 copies of my album. And I mean, it's great, but this album will actually never come out in a digital, like on streaming platforms, so it's like a very exclusive piece of yeah, it's like a very exclusive album that is just like there, you know, you can just have it on CD. And I did my merch myself, actually. So a lot of people that like bought my merch yesterday, they were like, oh my God, how did you do it? And they don't realize that 3 days ago I was just ironing my picture on the shirts and doing all of that. But yeah, it helps, definitely.
Yeah.
It helps to build the brand of me, like of Thunder Bae, of course.
What I know more than anything is music sometimes is very much underappreciated and not supported in the way people will listen to the music, but potentially won't sort of buy into it. There'll be things like the music is on Spotify or free plays, even on Bandcamp, where people can dip in, listen, take their little fix, but not really contribute. It's really unfair in some ways, because music and musicians and artists do suffer, because generally speaking, you're creative people that don't really understand business. And yet, as you mentioned earlier with a label will know the business and then will manipulate that, as you say. And I kind of get that too. You know, you want an organisation that is a business that knows its thing. But as you say, that can be quite restrictive to the artist sometimes, because the artist knows where they want to go, knows what they want to sing about, knows their potentials, knows, you know, how far they can go, their ranges when it comes to vocals, but somehow it's not identified with the business model, if that makes sense. Business just wants to churn out things, take photos, and push you here, there and everywhere. And that can create, obviously, burnout or stress.
Yeah, totally. I think also that music industry is a lot of like just pure machinery of creating an artist instead of finding an artist and building an artist and branding an artist and developing an artist's career. It's more like, oh, this could fit here, let's make it work. Let's make this product almost. And I hate this word in relation to music, because I mean, it's horrible, you know.
And that's why you probably don't like that word genre in some ways as well, because back in my day, there wasn't the genres there are today. I mean, they've all It's this like family tree going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think in genres at all. Because for me, it's like when I listen to music, I don't think like, oh, that's, I don't know, that's a trance or that's that. I'm just listening to it and I'm consuming it and I have a good feeling or a bad feeling about it. So, and that's why I think, for me as an artist, I don't really think in genres when I make music. Of course, I'm influenced by different styles and by different time eras and things, but yeah, I don't try to put myself into a box too much. Yeah.
So I saw you live on stage last night, and I know we've touched on that. And apart from it being a blinding set, you looked like you were thoroughly enjoying yourself. So what's it like being in front of your fans?
Yeah. Yesterday was amazing. Really, it was first of all, in a very cool club here in Düsseldorf, where a lot of stars or like people that oh my god, I'm sorry, my brain is not working. There were like the first punk band that ever was discovered in Germany played there, and so it's like it's a really cool place. And for me, it was my first concert where I wasn't the support act or I wasn't just like booked, but it was my evening, and all the people that came to see me. So I feel very honored, and I feel great to bring the band from Paris with me as my opener, which was quite something to organize. But I think it was cool, and I think people had a new impression of having like two bands playing such different sets, and I had a great time yesterday.
Yeah. One page to go, not too bad. So now we're going to go sort of rolling back, how I discovered you actually. So some people might not know your connection with the band Propaganda, but what was the impact like being asked to join them and become the new voice of the band?
Honestly, it was quite something, but it came so naturally all together that it felt like it was almost meant to be like that. And I just felt like I was suddenly friends with Michael and with Ralf, and we kind of became very musically connected, and all of that started back in the days where I used to live in the studio, and they were producing a new album. And I think originally they wanted to have different singers for this album, and they asked me to just sing the demo vocals because I was obviously hanging around in the studio all the time. And so I was singing the demo vocals, and back then I didn't even think about what I was saying or how the music was written, because I just started to get into that vibe. And I mean, yeah, the music is quite something by Propaganda, and what they're saying in their lyrics and how the music is written and how it's rhythmically phrased and everything. And so over time, I really grew into these songs while recording demo vocals. And I think at some point, Propaganda they just came to me and they were like, we don't want other singers anymore. Let's do it together. Like, we think your vocals fit so much. And that was a moment where I was like, oh, okay, fine, let's do it. And I felt really honored, and I think it's such a great piece of art what they created with this album, and I feel very, very good about that. Yeah.
Oh, so you should be.
Yeah.
So it was great to see Michael in the audience last night. It's great to see him, supporting your solo project too. I teased him a little, asking him some questions I had heard about, being rumoured about the new Propaganda music. Are you excited with the prospect of working, should I say, on another project?
Sorry.
Do you think you'll be working on another project with Propaganda?
Well, what I can say is that Propaganda will not just fall asleep and, stop or something. Propaganda will go on, and I think that's, something will come.
Because I was going to say, there's been very positive feedback I know there's the usual. I'll say the words because I'm not putting words in your mouth this way. But I know there can be people that are a little cantankerous because it's not the same lineup, and it happens a lot with groups and artists. But I like the idea that people evolve and the music evolves, and sometimes it is about the music, sometimes more than maybe the clientele, if that makes any sense as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think for a lot of propaganda fans, it might be weird, and I've read a couple of comments saying like, oh, but that's not the real propaganda because the original voices are missing. And yeah, but at the same time, I think that they definitely evolved and they made a big shift with this album and with the sound. And I mean, they are much older than I am, but when we do music and when we talk about music, or when we even just grab a coffee and talk about a next video concept, I don't feel any age gap or anything. I just feel like we are one. And that's how we felt from the beginning as well, even though I was super young. And yeah, so I think there's something new coming, and I think that we fit together very well with the guys, yeah.
No, that's great, that's great. And even touring, I suppose. Would you tour with propaganda thinking of touring even?
I think we had a couple of conversations about that, but I'm not sure what the plans are now because Ralf is on tour right now, and yeah, I think we will talk about that by the end of that year again, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would go. I would definitely go.
And you're going to continue flitting back and forth. You'll
Yeah.
be working on your solo work.
Of
and
course, yeah.
Being the lead singer of propaganda.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, why not?
Well, thank you for taking the time out of your day today, Natalie, and talking with me. It's a pleasure hearing your music and a joy to play it to others. That's what I do on my radio show. So I wish you much success for your future.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
Have a great day, everyone.
And how was that?
That was cool.
Good.
It was kind of like my first interview situation.
Well.